What the fuck? Starting the output failed. Please check the login.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
It starts.
It's still streaming.
Uh-oh.
It's just streaming.
Oh,
It's
is
just
it?
not. It's just not recording, which is fine.
Uh-oh.
A clear start. Yeah, it's like update your drivers, and I'm like, why? Okay, maybe later. Whatever. It's streaming, so we're live.
We're streaming. We're live right now, coming at you from around the world.
Chala. Hey, chala.
Hey, chala. Kire, who did it all? Hello and welcome to the Big Podcast. My name is Matt, and I'm here with Ethan.
Hey, what's up? How's it going?
I'm pretty good, and I'm with Ricardo.
I don't give a shit how you're doing.
Wow. Guys, everybody's heading to PAX. It's that time of year.
I love PAX. I go every not year.
I've got my bags just sitting
PAX.
over there because
Got your
I'm not
bags-
going.
Got your bags paxed.
I remember the one time we almost tried getting PAX tickets, and then we
Yeah.
just didn't. And then
We
we were
didn't
just
do it.
like, and now we're too busy to go.
Because Ricardo was like, I don't want to fly on a plane, and then we're like,
Yeah.
oh, and then we didn't go.
I don't
Yeah,
think
I
it was mainly
remember-
because of
Since then,
that.
Ricardo has flown on a plane.
Yeah. I think it might have literally just been I didn't think I could afford it.
Yeah, that was
That,
the.
I mean,
that
yeah,
was
we
the-
were in college, so and it's not like super cheap. So
Plane
Now,
flight plus PAX
nothing's
ticket plus
changed.
hotel plus. Now we
Nothing's
go to
changed.
Las Vegas every year.
Yeah, but we drive. Although you probably fly, right, Matt?
Mhm. I got
Yeah.
book tickets. I got book plane tickets for that crap.
I don't remember what like the optimal time is to do that, but
yeah, there's always that optimal time where you got to download that Hopper app, and you'd be like, oh,
Yeah,
use
it's
Google
like-
Flights or whatever.
It's like
and then,
it's like wait, bitch.
don't
optimal-
buy it.
the op-
Like,
Stupid
optimal
ass
time
bunny.
is like it's like this weird like in between 1 month and like 2
3
months
or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
arbitrary.
Because if you do it super late, obviously they just bumped up all the
Right.
they bumped up all the prices because they know that you desperate.
Mhm.
But if you do it really early, they have it pretty high as well because they're like, well, the only people booking early are people who are planning, and so
I
therefore
really want to
there's-
go. Yeah.
it's you got to get it right when they're like, oh crap, no one's buying our tickets, we got to lower the price.
Yeah.
Then they lower them and then they jump them up right at the very end.
People might want to go to Frankfurt, Kentucky.
And then they have
I
those
know,
weird
I
deals.
know, I do.
I don't know. Buying airplane tickets is always like way more stressful. I think it should
Dude,
be.
it's the worst. I had to buy a bunch of airplane tickets this year.
Airplane tickets
It's-
and hotel tickets are both terrible.
Oh yeah, hotel.
Hotel
See, the thing is like plane tickets. I feel
Did you say hotel tickets?
you
Shh,
did,
I
but
may
I
have
was
missed
just
it.
gonna,
Okay.
just gonna let that one go.
Ricardo, you
Um,
gonna let that go?
Look, man.
He lets a lot of things slide with me. You, on the other hand, Matt, you let nothing go. You
I
my
let-
spell checker.
I let lots of things go. I'm a very forgiving person.
Well, I know, but you'll bring it up though. You don't
okay.
hold it against you, but you will bring it up.
Yes, I will.
Anyway,
safe for the
what were
knowledge
you saying,
that it
Ricardo?
was not me that messed up.
Stretch cash. I was gonna say, like, I feel like there's been lots of breakthroughs and innovation in terms of like monitoring flights when they get cheaper. I feel like hotel rooms, it's literally just like I don't fucking know, like whatever. This
Yeah,
site
it-
might have the best rates because they talked to this person.
Yeah, the hotels are just.
Hotel Tonight is a pretty okay app that I've used in the past. But the problem
Yeah,
with
but
that
that's
is
literally if you need
yeah,
a hotel tonight.
if you need a hotel tonight, it works pretty good for that,
yeah,
and that's about
that's
it.
not
And
the
you get a good
Yeah,
deal.
You can end up in some good places for pretty cheap, but then your fellow person staying in the room might lock you out, and then you stay outside of the room.
Well,
for-
that's
Why
that's
would
another
that happen?
that's another
Why would-
issue.
Why would that ever happen?
Who knows? Who knows?
But
yeah,
that's a story
hotels suck.
for another podcast.
And then on top of that, they got all those hidden fees, and it's like, here's all this tourist tax. So it's
oh
like,
yeah,
at least
resort fee.
at least the plane ticket, like you could look on Google Flights, and it'll tell you exactly how
This
much
is
you'll
how
pay.
much it is.
Exactly,
Dude,
and then you go to
Resort
like,
fee,
How
bro.
much?
yeah, and then
What if you want to? What if you go to the pool? What if you go to the gym? You probably won't go to the exercise facility, but if you do, man, we gotta fucking charge you for that.
yeah, we gotta charge you for that. We gotta charge you for the lazy river. Our lazy river is pretty cool, but
The not so lazy river.
Yeah,
the kind of chaos.
you know it. Well, now that we talked about booking trips and planning things,
Oh, we take a trip to space. I tried that segue. Did it work? Was it good?
I thought it was pretty good.
It was pretty good. I didn't know what you were segueing at first, so I had to look at the list of things and be like, "What part is space?"
There's
And then
there's a couple
and
different
then I
space
realized,
things here.
Oh,
you
it's
must,
me.
you must be talking about Bardock, who is the
Oh,
father of
yes.
Goku and
Yeah,
lives
from
in
the
space.
the planet Vegeta.
Yeah. So
Wait, is Vegeta a planet?
yeah,
Oh, yes, and he was also the king of Planet Vegeta's was named Vegeta, and then
and
his
so
son
is his son is
was
also named
Prince
Vegeta.
Is that why there's
Vegeta.
so much Vegetas around?
Well, no, I mean there's only the one Vegeta.
Just the one
nowadays,
Vegeta, actually.
but he's very outspoken, so you'd you'd be forgiven if you thought there were many of him.
Okay.
He's very that's describing Vegeta as outspoken is a really
Outspoken.
it's just like it just makes him sound like you'd sit
Cocky
down,
bastard.
you would sit down to dinner and Vegeta's like, let me tell you about my political opinions on the recent election.
That's how-
it's just like
I
it's
would
like
believe it.
yeah, it's just like, oh gosh, why did I agree to go to dinner with Vegeta again?
Yeah, I've been playing more Dragon Ball Fighters because one, the game's really fun, and two,
What?
still gotta try to figure out how I'm gonna
Not
beat anybody.
eliminated in
Evo.
Evo.
At Evo. But
Never.
so they just released their first two DLC characters, and they were Bardock, who is the father of Goku, and a very little used character in the series. Like he has his own like spin-off.
It's like a special, right, that he's in.
Yeah, but he's not really used much in the main series. And then Broly, who's
Like,
straight up.
wasn't he like a fan favorite in some
I was
regard?
gonna
Like
say Broly,
Bardock
but
is-
like, Bardock and Broly. Well, both of them were kind of like characters that people were like they should be in it. But Broly.
I mean, they do have Goku Black and people you've never heard, well, not never heard of, but like
No,
very,
Kane.
very, yeah.
Captain Ginyu's in there as well, and the rest of the Ginyu Force. But yeah, and Broly is kind of like an arguably canon character in the series who's been in like his own movies, but not actually in the mainline story. It's kind of weird. And they've hit the meta a little bit. People seem to really like Bardock, and I've been playing a lot as Bardock. He's just he's this guy who does kind of everything. His combos flow really well into each other. He's got one projectile super, and then he's kind of got like the bionic arm. If you know Marvel vs. Capcom 3, the fucking Brad Spencer does the bionic arm special, and he's kind of got a version of that can also, if he spends another meter of bar, go into his projectile super, and he's just got a lot of stuff that works together. He's pretty cool. And then Broly, who's kind of a weird character in the game, because like there's like one true grappler, like big body character in Dragon Ball Fighters right now, and it's Android 16. But Broly, he kind of also plays similar to that. He's got a lot of moves that are armored. He's got a lot of moves that grab the opponent, switch sides. Apparently, he's very good when you get a character in the corner. And I've experienced some of that, mostly going up against Broly's, as I haven't really played as him. But I'm hearing something.
Kids
So
are
I'm just
yelling
gonna,
outside.
just
I
gonna-
need to-
There are children.
Children
There
are
are
very
chil-
upset.
There are children upset about.
Is your window open? That's like
Dragon
really,
Ball.
that's very clear.
Kids can walk right next to my window.
They
Hey.
are arguing the canon of Broly. They're like,
Broly.
he is not even a real Dragon Ball Z character. Mr. Satan should have been in it for next.
It should have been Zarbon.
Yeah.
Yeah, just I've gotten to that one point, and I get to in a lot of fighting games where it's like I clearly have to get better if I'm gonna consistently beat people, because the way it works in Dragon Ball is that the rankings go from, I think it's Earthling, Namekian, Super Saiyan, no, Frieza Clan, Super Saiyan, Android.
Ooh, wow, Frieza Clan higher than Namekian
yes.
or Earthling, even though they can't do garbage against them.
Android, Super Saiyan 2, and then I think Supreme Kai is the highest ranking that I've seen. So right now I'm sitting at Android. I can't really eclipse out of there to Super Saiyan 2. I can't go beyond.
You gotta yell.
No matter how hard I charge up. So I'm trying to figure out characters that I like using better. I've been using Bardock, original Super Saiyan Goku, and Teen Gohan right now.
Oh man, it's the family.
And I'm really liking
it's the fam.
Yeah, and I'm really liking Bardock, and I've played the original Super Saiyan Goku since I started. He's kind of been the consistent one in my team, but I just feel like I need to figure out some other characters. So I want to play as Vegeta, both the regular and the blue. I just unlocked the blue version, so I'll try them out. And then I also want to maybe play around with Nappa, just because I really like Nappa. I think he's a funny character. So
He's got a great name. He's like a valley or something.
Nappa.
It's like a valley or something.
Hey,
Or something.
it's felt pretty good for some Cybermen, Vegeta.
Nappa, you fool!
Yeah, Vegeta. Yeah. So I'm gonna probably try that next time I play.
Yeah. I just enjoy talking about Dragon Ball Z every week, so that Ethan can have a very glazed look on his face, and it just makes me happy.
Nappa is like Dan Reichert described him as anime Goldberg, and I think it's a very apt description to describe.
Now I don't know
way he
anything about what you're
looks
talking about.
and
My
his
eyes
intensity.
are gonna glaze over.
He's a bald man. He's got a nice Fu Manchu,
He does.
and he's got no pants.
No
Like,
pants.
he's wearing like the Super Saiyan armor, and you just see like his giant thighs like sticking out. I like that.
Them thighs.
I like that. Whereas
You like
Vegeta,
them-
he's
you like
got
them-
Vegeta's got like the whole like blue
Jumpsuit.
undershirt jumpsuit thing, but yeah, Nappa's just like, no, this is just me.
Just shorts.
It's out there.
Rocking it.
More freedom of movement.
More Nappa to enjoy.
Yes, indeed. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've been playing. Yeah, I messed around a little bit. It's not on the list with a free MMO called
Oh, Terra.
Terra.
That's a game that's been out for a long time.
It's
But I
been out-
heard it just came to PS4, didn't it?
It literally just came to consoles.
Isn't it like huge? Isn't it like huge in Korea?
I don't remember. I,
think.
just
Well,
remember
isn't it made by the same people that make
it's
Battlegrounds?
Bluehole.
Yeah, it's Bluehole. Yeah.
I just remember watching the game like years and years ago and thinking like it was really cool because it had more of an action-oriented combat system. Like it was more combo oriented. There were dodge rolls and stuff implemented
Instead
into
of
it.
like most MMOs that are very
Instead
much
of
like
just,
press
like,
the
click,
one
click,
thing
click,
and then it
click, click,
happens.
click, click, click,
Click,
click,
click,
click.
and something happens.
Uh,
It's like worse Diablos, basically.
Yeah. But ultimately it's just another very formulaic MMO. It is go here, kill this many of this thing, bring it back, go here, collect this thing, maybe fight this boss character. Which like the funny thing is,
MMO.
which is the funny thing is like it's like, yeah, that's the structure of a lot of games, but just the way that they're always laid out in an MMO is just so bland and boring to me. Like I was hoping it was a little bit more engaged, like the combat would engage a little bit more, but it's just ultimately it's like I'm not feeling it really, so I'm probably not going to be revisiting that. But
yeah,
hey,
I think it's weird to have like an MMO nowadays where it's like I feel like that their lunch has been eaten by like Destiny and things like that, where it's like
yeah, where it's like you want this thing where you can interact with other people and have this kind of persistent character with loot and stuff that you can show off. Play Destiny or play Monster Hunter now. Or
yeah, it's like you can do that in a much smaller scale because you know what? Hey, that big cool like a bunch of people around in an area, that's neat. But after a while, the novelty kind of wears off, and it's like you just get less assholes trolling you, and it's like I kind of get that same experience what I need with playing with friends and together and like leveling up together in Monster Hunter more so than like an MMO because the gameplay is just way better too.
Yeah, I was gonna say the
Significantly better.
gameplay is way more engaging. So yeah, that's pretty much all I've been playing. Not much else so far.
Cool. I also went back and played an old game, or a game that's been around for a bit. Actually, that's kind of what all three of us did this week.
Yeah.
I played Stellaris, which
Stellaris
is a game that I really liked when it first came out, and played a good chunk of, and then kind of fell off of a little bit. And just like a lot of Paradox games, it starts with a strong foundation, and it's like once we have like 2 or 3 expansions, this is gonna be a real good game. And they just released another big expansion, and like the 2.0 version of the game, which changed a bunch of stuff even for the base game, that kind of thing. And so I got some of the expansions, and I started playing it last night. And I'm like, all right, time to get back into Stellaris. And I'm like, 2 hours later, I finished writing the name for my character, for the name of the race of aliens that I'm going to play as. I'm like, yes,
Nice.
I got the perfect name now. I can. Yeah, it's one of those games where I take a long time to like make sure everything lines up perfectly.
I was to say, I've played so much of the character creator, but I've never gotten really past it. Like, I look at the screen and go, I should
Yeah, it
probably do
almost
that.
seems like a weird game where you have to kind of like put aside a session that's only going to be character creation and then say, okay, now
Oh, you
I'm
can
gonna step away
you can
from
definitely
it
go a lot
and
faster.
then come back. No, but I'm saying like if you really want to get like invested in
Oh,
the,
yeah.
the race you're playing or whatever, and then come back and be like, okay, now I'm going to play the game. Now I'm going to sit down.
Yeah. So I started playing the actual game part of it, and it's real good. I forgot some of the changes. This is not the game's fault, because the game did warn me about this, but the game changed the way that your empire builds like territory.
Okay.
And it used to be like a kind of like gradual thing, like a la Civ or other places like that. And then you could also build certain structures that would like guarantee you that spot, but then it would just like kind of slowly build out from where you currently have. Now you have to build structures to claim, star systems. And so I was sitting there just going like, man, when's my thing gonna, when's my area gonna get bigger? And I even like captured, built a base on another place and got another star system. Like, still not going anywhere. And like, I found my first other civilization, and they have like this huge, massive territory relative to me. And I'm like, oh, what's going on? I'm like,
am I goofing here?
Well, and then I was like, oh crap, I have to build a base in every place I want to have my territory in. So I'm gonna go the other way instead of that way. And then like I go the other way, and there's another big sim.
And you're like, I made a mistake.
I messed up. It's not like the game is ruined. I've still got places to build and things like that. But I am definitely behind other civs in that regard.
You're a late bloomer.
Yeah, exactly. I have a very well built up home system.
I was gonna say, like, building up a home system is really nice. Like, is it gonna be really dope? And then you just have like a really nice one system area, and that's fine.
Yep. So,
what is your race?
I'm playing tiny little gecko guys.
Gecko guys? They're not like the frog guys that we made, are they?
No, they're still like reptilian, like the frog ones
Gotcha.
are.
Here come
They're
them
not,
boys.
but they're not the same creature. They have little like robes, so I made them monks. So they are like fanatic spiritualists and pacifists.
One thing I like is like
I made them.
all the little portraits you get in the game is you just look at that and you extrapolate. You're like, what are these characters like?
What
Like,
is this guy?
Yeah, because he's like small and he has a little robe on. So I'm like, he's a monk. He's a little
Yeah.
wise. He's a wise little gecko monk, is what he is. And I made them. There's a cool thing that they've added. They've added a bunch of stuff. They've added like different kinds of creatures. There's like plant species now. Plant like
species.
races you can be. There was mushroom races before, which there still are, but they're like plant races now. And you can make robotic races. You can make a hive mind like that.
What?
One thing I did was I made it so that my race of aliens has like a symbiotic relationship with another species that is on the home planet, like just starting out. And they're like, basically the game describes them as being like not intelligent enough to be like sapient, but also smarter than an animal. Like, so
I see.
they're like really, really, really smart gorillas, like gorillas that we could get to do jobs for us, kind of thing. It's like the level of it. So like basically they're like, and then I made them these little plant guys that were like a couple feet off the ground, like little like little walking bushes with like glowy eyes on them, and
Tangela.
so now they just do all my farming and mining for me. So that's their job.
Man, I hope they stay happy doing that and nothing bad happens.
They're not slaves, okay? It's a symbiotic relationship.
What do they get out of it?
They get protection because they are. Oh no! So I made it so that.
Oh yeah, they don't get anything.
Are you the mafia?
No, my race is not very strong and is pacifist. And these guys are tough, so they could fight better, and they are not very smart. So my race is the one that helps them live. It's totally fine.
I don't see anything going wrong with this.
Yeah, that sounds fine to me.
Point.
There's no problematic historical context to this at all.
No way.
Because this is in space, and there's no history there.
Yeah, space. That's what Carl Sagan always said. There's no history in space.
Yep.
Also, he said there's no up in space.
It's true. That is true. But think about that.
Sure, it wasn't Buzz Aldrin.
There's no hierarchy because no one's up or down.
Yeah, it's not up.
Everybody is.
There's just
Everyone's
billions
just
and
equal.
billions and billions.
Yeah. So that's my story. I got this. I'm spiritualist and pacifist, and next to me I have a dictatorship that's materialist, which is the opposite.
Oh,
And,
this
or,
will
no,
end well.
sorry. There's xenophile and materialist. That's right.
Hey,
so
opposites attract, man.
No, they're like immediately we met and they're like closing the borders to you,
Oh.
and I'm like, oh, this is bad. And then I'm like, all right, I'll go the other way, and I found another alien race, the other one that I found. It's like
And what's wrong with those guys?
It's like we are a hive mind, we will consume all, and I'm like, oh, good, this is good.
Oh.
This is good. This is good right now.
Seems like a good place for pacifists to be.
Those guys like me though. The second guys seem fine with me. I gave them some food, and I think they were short on food because they were like now they're like really happy with me. So that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Speaking of space, I
birthdays,
I flew a little airplane. By airplane, I mean spaceship around space.
That's not what. That's
Wait,
not how
airplane.
airplane
Not an
can go in
airplane. I
space.
lied. Airplanes can't go in space. Well, they can kind of go in space. Some of them can, but not
I
very
mean,
far.
you could say
High altitude, low orbit is not space, my friend.
It's pretty close though.
Talking about the
Halo,
the Red Bull,
Halo,
the Red Bull
Orbit jump.
jump.
Stratus
Yeah, that was
jump.
in an air balloon specifically because they can't get a plane that high.
Mm.
I
But
don't
what
blame
about
you.
on 420?
What if this plane was smoking a joint?
Yeah.
Just this.
It's a
That
really
plane
chill
can get
plane.
high. So what did you do in space?
So I used my $15 Oculus credit, and I was like, hey man, I really liked EVE Online. EVE Online is a cool game, but I can't play it anymore because it literally gives me anxiety in real life. So I'm gonna play the fun little VR version that's gonna be cool. It's got Katie Sackhoff, the Starbuck. She's gonna
like
narrate
Katie
the
Sackhoff.
game. And it's gonna be cool and it's fun. I put it down and I was just like, man, I forgot this is like a launch game with the Oculus Rift. And so it's like, why don't you use these controllers?
Yes,
Why don't
you
use
made us play that game. I remember.
No, I was Elite Dangerous.
Oh, that's a different
yeah,
game.
that's
my bad.
really dangerous.
Which I was like, oh, that game's cool. I enjoyed Elite Dangerous, but there's no like just jump in, shoot arena, have a good time mode in that. It's like, oh, this is a serious space simulator. But Eve Valkyrie is just like, hey, you want to have a fun multiplayer? You just fly around and shoot dudes and they get cool, fun lasers that fly real fast and all that stuff. And I played it, and I felt sick, like, right away. I don't know. It was something about the spinning and just like, oh, this game is fast. Like, it is a fast freaking game, and you're flipping around and doing flips and shit, and I'm just like, oh, boy. And I don't even think it was, like, VR's fault. It was more just, like, the game itself was just too fast for me, and I was just like, I can't. But then after a while, I kind of got used to it. But then I just realized, man, I don't really like cockpit flying games that much. As far as like space ones, because I played a lot of IL-2, which is this old World War II flight simulator game where you go and like bomb places and like take off these old planes from like aircraft carriers was like half the challenge, and it was not super simmy, but it was definitely a lot more simulation focused than like Valkyrie. But I started thinking about it. I'm like, why is this game not clicking with me? It's because I think it's just too chaotic. Like, you can never get a sense of a horizon. There's no up in space, There's no down in space.
A recurring
A
theme.
recurring theme.
This
So I
podcast.
couldn't really get my bearings. I didn't really feel like I was anywhere. I felt like I was just aimlessly flying around in circles and just kind of like there wasn't anything centering there, even though they had like giant asteroids and kind of like space stations to sit there.
It's just a metaphor for life, man.
I know, you're just spinning
Are we
around.
going
And you're
Are we just spinning around in circles?
All
What
those-
does it all mean?
all those things you use to navigate life. It doesn't really matter. You don't really have a clear goal, you know. It's just temporary
what's it all
things.
So does this game tie at? I mean, obviously it's in the same universe, but like, does it actually tie proper into Eve
No.
Eve Online at all?
It's not like that Dust 514
Yeah, I was
game.
gonna say there was that one first-person shooter that was supposed to be like, oh, these ground wars or whatever are gonna have like real impact on the Eve Online game or something like that.
Yeah, and they kind of did, but then no, this has absolutely nothing to do with it. They just uses the universe, which is weird because they use like weird ships they just kind of invented because none of the Eve ships are really meant for actually flying like this sort of high speed stuff.
Okay.
These are like a weird rogue people that are flying this, and like
I see.
the only reference I got that made me think this was an Eve is the fact that it's like, oh, you're a clone. You're every time you get your conscious jump to another clone. It's a little weird, so let's do a calibration. That was like it. Otherwise, I would have never known this was an Eve game. Oh, and there's corporations, I guess. But like every sci-fi game has corporations.
Indeed.
So I was thinking about it, and I think it has something to do with like the lack of horizon, because even like Star Fox games have like a horizon sort of like there's no like you can't turn
There's
around, go the other
reference
way.
points.
Yeah, there's reference
Yeah.
points that kind of keep you on the rails, and I think that was kind of interesting. And like I said, with the IL-2, you got a horizon, you got gravity, you're actually on a planet, and
Not always.
most
Sometimes
Star
you're in space.
well, that's all I'm talking about IL-2. In Star Fox, you're mostly on a planet, to be fair. But yeah, it was
But
weird.
like,
It
even
was-
when you're not, it's like there's a clear
It's a very like the
2D.
yeah,
Yeah.
funnily enough, space comes at you in a very linear
Yeah.
like course, like for trajectory.
And it was just too like I would just basically focus on what's in front of me. I wasn't getting that whole like looking around and stuff, which is something I did a lot more in Elite
Elite?
Dangerous because it's a little bit slower and I wasn't like freaking out and like looking everywhere. So
Get out, man.
Can't shake.
I'm a little disappointed by Valkyrie. I was kind of hoping I would like it because I got off Star Tours one day. I was just like, man, I want to play a cockpit game in space. That seems super fun. Then I thought about it. I'm like, man,
Whee!
mostly Star Tours is on planets. It has a horizon too.
Horizon 2, Zero Dawn
Yeah.
again.
I just want a flying game, I guess. I just need to find like
But why do that when you can just be like, oh, we're going to crash on Coruscant. Oh no, we're going the wrong way. We're going through the.
oh
tunnel."
man, look, it's the Millennium Falcon. Oh, it shoots backwards. Oh no, we're in the Star Destroyer. It's
Oh,
destroyed.
look, it's Han
It's
Solo. Oh, look,
Finn.
it's young Han Solo. Oh, look, it's Finn. Oh,
Oh,
look,
yeah.
Is there going to be a young Han
Of
Solo
course, there's gonna
added
be
to?
Yep.
'Cause
That's
I mean,
just,
they added stuff for Rogue One and for obviously Force
Wait, did they do it
Awakens.
for Rogue One?
Yeah, they did the. Oh shit!
That, the villain.
Yeah, no, they did. Didn't they do a Scarif one? I don't remember.
No, I don't think they
Who can
did.
say?
I don't think they
Ugh.
did.
No, I don't. As far as I know, they didn't. But I haven't been to Disneyland often as you guys have, obviously.
Maybe I'm confusing. Anyway,
Anyway, I guess some other kind of space game that will maybe satisfy this itch or some sort of flying game. I think those
well,
like free-to-play ones might be cool.
well, from the time of the distant future
Mhm.
of spaceships to the,
The time of the even
time
further,
of
time of the even further future, because
But,
it's
like,
here's-
the arc is not in, arc is not in the past.
yeah, it's the future, man, because you got these little cavemen with these weird like things on them. Okay,
Yeah, and it's like cyber beacons shooting out of the sky with robot computers.
Arc.
Arc.
I forget what
Survival,
the title
Evolve.
is. Survival.
Survival.
Evolved. I was like,
It's
Combat
actually-
Evolved. but
Yeah,
that's
it's
not
made
right.
by the same people who made Halo.
It's funny because when I installed
Spiritual
this,
sequel.
Spiritual successor.
when I installed this, something else popped up called Arc Survival of the Fittest, which is their battle royale game that I don't think anyone's ever talked about. A battle royale. Wow.
Go ahead. What is this?
Yeah.
Is it multiplayer?
I know you play with up to 75 people, which is a very weird number, and fight to survive. But I played the original Survival Evolved, which is a survival game, and I'm like, all
Before
right,
it's sold out.
I played a bit of Rust. I want to give this game a little try, a little trysies here. I don't know. I kind of don't like this game at all. Like the interface is
what happened?
the interface is ugly.
You make a terrible, ugly character. Like
All your
Sensei
characters are ugly.
Yeah, they're so.
They're
ugly.
terrible.
It's impossible.
There's no way to make a good-looking character in Ark. Like anyone that looks remotely normal, it's like, do you want someone fucked up or do you want someone like really fucked up looking? Like those are the only two options, and it's just like.
Hey man, too long video games and movies have catered to this unrealistic male gaze ideal of just the chiseled strongman or the sexy no clothes wearing woman. It's time for someone to stand up and say ugly people only in this case.
I'm ugly and I'm proud.
I prefer Rust dongs. Rust has the good dongs.
Ethan, male gaze. Again, male gaze for Ethan here. Just wants the giant dongs.
Ark has no dongs. Ark has poop. Your character will randomly just poop when he just feels like it. And you can
like in real life. Like in real life, that's reality, Ethan. That's
you not just poop when you feel like it.
Why? When I'm running, I just decide to poop, and then
I think I should poop. Right
and I also make a really loud fart sound when I poop every time.
Yeah. Duh, like real life.
Like real life. Yeah.
Have you been in a public bathroom before?
Yeah. Dude.
Okay, but tell me about a little bit of.
No, let's talk about public bathrooms because, man, have you ever heard like some public bathrooms like that person needs to go to the doctor?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Man.
Working at a company in a large building with a bunch of software engineers.
Oh yeah.
Here's some things.
Yeah.
I just feel like that's just you. Just think everybody else stinks. I feel like that's.
I don't think it's a stink sound. It's a sound. I think it's a stink problem. I think it's a sound problem. Like
it's a sound problem.
Like the way, like
so they
just
should install a muffler.
Their flow is bad. Is all I'm saying.
I don't know why that was so funny to me. It just hit me.
Did you see someone like picturing someone installing a muffler up their butt? Like,
oh, hold on, I gotta put in my silencer.
Just squeeze it in here.
My flash suppressor.
It's not sexy, I promise. It's a medical.
It's a medical thing, yeah. I don't think anything's sexy about silencing your poops.
It is.
Y'all need some fibers. All I'm saying.
We've gone way off topic here.
No,
all
because
I wanted to do was hear about the dinosaurs.
Well, here's the thing: Ark is shitty, so it's just like all the poop we've been talking about. I don't like it. It stinks. It sucks.
Okay, fucking James Rolfe.
It sucks. Fucks. Don't want it. It's a piece of shit. Cockadookie. I want to be more nuanced than that. The reason I don't like Ark is
because it's ugly. That's why you don't like Smite too.
Yeah, Ethan
the characters are pretty ugly.
People.
Man. I don't think Smite is as ugly as this game. This game is horrendous. The way
I've seen this game. This game looks real bad.
It's so gross.
I cannot believe it got so huge.
And like, I think it's because the dinosaur aspect, like the fact that they have a cool thing where you can like find little creatures and actually like feed them food. Yeah, you can poop on them if you want and feed them food. And they'll become your friends, and they'll hang out with you and follow you, and that's a fun aspect. Like that's cool, meeting these little creatures
just
and
like
doing stuff.
Real life.
Well, I was walking around, and I saw people with these giant pens everywhere, and they had giant brontosauruses with like saddles on them and stuff hanging out, and like a couple people had T-Rexes, and I'm like, that's so cool.
Brontosaurus is not a real animal, so.
You mean an Apatosaurus? Please.
Wow, I'm glad this game is so realistic.
Do you mean Brachiosaurs?
Brachiosaurus.
Diplodocus.
They eat plants.
Diplodocus. I thought it was Diplodocus.
They're plant eaters.
I think it's either way. Whatever you want to.
Whatever.
If you want to be more, up your own ass, you say Diplodocus.
I had a lot of trouble. Like,
wait, up your own ass. I've got to think.
Like my flash suppressor.
The way this game deals out. Never. All right, let's talk about poop more. All right, so.
Do you have a foregrip?
Yes.
That's built in though. That's not an attachment.
I was gonna say that came with. No, Ethan. So what did you do? Did you befriend any dinosaurs?
I tried to befriend some dinosaurs. They stared at me for a bit, and then they just started attacking me. These little shitheads. So I just killed them.
And then the Jurassic Park 2 Lost World?
It was basically those.
Where the little
Peter Stormare.
It was basically you're a psychopath. You little tiny.
So wait. So actually,
I
how
want
does
Ethan to
Ark
play.
work?
I want Ethan to play Ark every week now. But so
Are
that we
you
can-
on? Are you on a server with other people?
Yeah, I
And
played a
other
PvE
people?
server because I wanted to actually like try to
Okay.
enjoy the type of game and like
Yeah,
actually learn the
without
stuff.
people just running up and being like, "I got a fucking Oviraptor and I'm gonna peck you to death."
Yeah, exactly. But I couldn't. The crafting is also like really clunky, and it's just coming from playing Rust and where everything's kind of like smooth. The edges are kind of smoothed down and very simple. This has a lot of bullshit on it. Like it's just a lot of just things going on and like building a I couldn't figure out how to build a shelter for like the longest time. And then when I did, I was like, oh, I have to find this weird material. And it's like, I don't know where to find this material. And maybe I would have had more fun if I had like a guide. Like maybe it was just like the tutorial system's bad. It's like, want to watch these little videos? Nah, these videos suck. They're really short. And here's little bits of writing about it. It says like, oh, here's how you access your inventory. Here's how you access this. Here's how you access that. And the progression was weird. Your character just basically leveled up for existing, which was strange. I don't know. It didn't grab me, but I feel like maybe if I had people to play with, I might actually try to give it a chance. But like, there's so many more games in the survival genre, especially ones that I just have accumulated through the years.
I mean, there's a game called Minecraft, which is pretty good.
I could just play Minecraft and maybe get that fixed from there. Or I could just try Rust again. I didn't have the worst time in Rust.
Don't Starve?
Or Don't Starve is pretty good. I have that game. I also have this game called The Forest, which is I think it's coming out of early access real soon here, so I might start that up because it's been in early access for a very long time. And the Long Dark is the other one I'm going to probably try next. I've had that for a little while and heard good things about it because it's a little more story structured than some of these other ones.
I have an update. The butt muffler is a real product you can buy on Amazon.com.
Okay.
A legitimate shopping website.
But
I mean, is it though?
Oh.
It is.
USPS.
Oh god.
Oh.
Damn it.
Wow. So it's
Okay.
it's for farts. This is for farts.
It's for farts. So it's not gonna solve Ethan's problem.
That's just gonna make the sound. I feel like you could mute your own farts pretty easily.
I think it's less for sound. It says to neutralize odors.
Oh.
Filter seat cushion to neutralize odors.
Okay, it does neutralize.
Oh,
Okay, that's
I
important.
see.
That's
So-
important.
This is very interesting.
Oh, it has charcoal inside of it. Okay, which is odor removing.
I hope it's clean, Cole.
I hope it burns clean. Clean charcoal.
Anyway, that is not as interesting, or quite as interesting as Ark.
There's something up here called liquid ass, which is just super horrible fart spray.
Oh.
Smells like ass, only worse.
Oh yes.
May
I
evacuate
looked at
rooms.
it for some reason. I was like, "Oh, is that poopery?" And then I was like,
You guys ready for your Amazon recommendations to be all effed up now?
Yeah, number one
I'm
seller
ready. Also,
of gags.
Next to butt muffler, I also have. I see, pet sweep, pet prank pack, pet sweep, stand size gift box. I guess it's not an actual product. It's just a box that's like, oh, look at this thing that you can put on your dog's feet, and it's their brooms.
Mm.
And then there's like a thing that has this fucking shovels on a dog's
These
foot.
are terrible. Man, okay, we gotta get off this. All right, so is it news time? We're all kind of done here, right?
It's time for the news.
That for some reason makes me want to play Ark, just to be like, what could possibly be so bad about this game?
I feel maybe I'll stream it. Maybe I'll stream it one more time, and we'll just go through about why I don't like this game.
Maybe you will, but you won't be streaming it from your Steam machine.
Ah, shit!
Got him.
those are dead.
They're dead.
The funny thing is that like I honestly thought these were dead a while ago.
They basically
The thing
were
is, like,
because nobody made them.
Yeah, like well, they made like one batch of them.
Yeah,
And
and then
then
after that, they're like,
They've not made any sense. And this is just saying that they delisted them from Valve's store page.
yeah, but
Like,
that.
they've been dead for a while. Like, no one's made any of them. For a
Yeah,
while,
but
and
this
no
is
longer
Valve
even
coming
for
out and
sale.
acknowledging it and being like, oh yeah, we're just gonna kind of sweep this under the rug. Don't worry about it. Which is
Yeah.
so the point of Steam machines, for some people who don't know, is they were Steam's bet on Linux because they don't like the monopoly that Windows has over gaming PCs, and that's fine. That's understandable. So they're like, why don't we make our own? We'll try to push to make developers make Linux games that run on Linux, and we'll release these really cool machines.
And yeah, they'll be like prefabricated, so the dummies like me who are like, I don't know how that
I don't want to have to
PC
upgrade my
stuff
PC.
works. I don't get it. You
Yeah.
could just buy one of these and be like, oh, look, everything
And
here.
it basically just ran big picture mode with a couple extra
Yep.
add-ons. SteamOS was the name of the OS. It was
Very
a little bit
creative
more
name.
than big picture, but basically just big picture.
Well, this came out at the same time. They're really pushing for the living room. This is because the Steam
Yes.
Link was also announced around the same time, and so was the Steam
And,
controller.
well, the article even says that Steam Link itself is pretty much partially responsible for the fact that Steam
Pretty
machines
much.
didn't do well, because why would you pay $400 or $1,000 for the most expensive one when you could pay $50 and then you have the same basic idea? If you already have a computer, I suppose, but still.
But also, the thing is like the problem with Steam Links or Steam machines is that they run Linux, and like a lot of things. If you want
Aren't
to do
gonna
anything
play.
on Linux, it's a little rougher than using like a PC.
Well, that's why Valve made that huge push around the same time to like brought devs in, like flew them into Valve, be like, hey, we'll help you, like they're
No, I'm talking about like from a consumer side, like a consumer people to be like, oh, well, I could purchase this because I remember maybe a year down the line, Alienware was selling the exact same version of its Steam hardware, Steam machine, but on a Windows operating system. Like you could just put Windows on here and it'll do the exact same thing because there's no reason not to. Like you could just use Windows and it can do a lot more. Not to say that Linux doesn't do as much. But
now the angry Linux people are going to email us.
I know,
like,
exactly
thank
right.
you.
But for the average user, they don't want to mess with the Linux. They don't want to mess with that scary operating system.
But what about
but it's not.
Penguin?
It wouldn't have actually been. It was Linux based, but you wouldn't have interfaced with any of the Linux
But
stuff.
but do you want this thing to not interface with it and have basically a console, or do you want to actually have a PC that can do a lot more? Like,
Well, that was
Yeah,
the big problem with Steam machines in the first place. Is that who are they for? Because it sounds like they were for people who just wanted a console and didn't want to upgrade it.
Exactly.
In which case, Linux was the better option because it didn't run anything else.
Totally.
If you wanted to run Windows, why would you buy a Steam machine?
But also the value of it is like, well, I could just buy a regular computer at that point and then also get more stuff. You know.
Exactly. Yeah.
But
It was the
I don't
infinite conundrum.
understand how it works.
Ricardo has a computer right now that runs Steam, and he still refuses to play.
Also, the Penguin.
The Penguin looks cool. Linux is cool, but yeah. I mean, the original, the cheapest Steam machine costs about $459, which is the price of like almost an Xbox One X. You know, so you would probably, I would just buy that instead, or buy a nice computer. You know, I would spend that extra money and just put that into.
Subscribe to that Microsoft Game Pass, $10 a month. You can get any game as long as it's one of the 5 games on Microsoft Game Pass, and you can get it.
So the beginning of the money that you can spend, you can't do it anymore in Miller's Shadow of War because they took out the microtransactions.
Microtransactions.
Everybody's been talking about Miller's Shadow of War. Everyone's been like,
I know.
man, when are they going to take out those microtransactions?
Do you own that game,
Dude.
Ricardo?
I do own that game.
Wait, what?
So
When did
now
that-
I might-
when-
I got it for Christmas. My mom got it
Oh.
for me for Christmas, so I actually haven't unwrapped it yet. But maybe I will now because there's no. Well, once like the actual update hits and stuff, which
Yes.
also apparently smooths out the end game too.
Yeah.
To a certain extent.
Well, that's apparently
that end
May
game was
8th.
like horribly terrible. Apparently, it was like.
So I
built
might
around you.
actually fucking play that. Now.
I kind of been like, I was always mildly curious about it because the stuff they did kind of
There was
actually seemed
stuff
kind
I
of
liked in the first one. but
Yeah,
I
and the
mean,
stuff they put
overall
into it,
came
I was kind
came
of
away a little about it.
I was kind of more into the stuff they put in this one, even though a lot of people said they didn't like it. Like I felt like it might have worked for me.
Mhm.
That being said, like I also didn't really want to spend $6 on a game that might have worked for me. I kind of was, and plus the microtransaction stuff kind of turned me off.
Yeah, I mean, like everything I saw about the game didn't make me want to play it, and then I saw when it came out and was like, okay, this looks like it is like fine, but it also just didn't. I don't know, nothing really.
What
I
about
love the first game.
sexy Sheila?
Sexy
What
Sheila.
about sexy Sheila?
Oh, you
Don't
can never
she
take her out.
tempt me, Frodo.
Sheila got the titties.
Because she can.
That's what Gollum said.
I think it's funny that they took this out like right after their like they announced this. What the Battlefront 2 microtransactions just got removed too, like maybe a week or two ago.
Yeah, well, they got removed when the game came out. Remember?
Oh
The
yeah, you're right.
microtransactions got removed back when the game came
But-
out. They just gave all the characters away for free this last week or something.
Yeah,
like
they
that.
they took away like they changed the progression system completely and all that
Yeah.
stuff. So
But
which
it's like
also
too little too
sounds-
late at this point. Like,
Yeah.
It kind of is. I mean, that's kind of what the Giant Bomb guys were talking about on the podcast. Where they were talking about like it might have just been a situation of I guess what is this? This is Warner Brothers like looking
for
at
this,
the
for this or for
yeah,
it's
for this.
This is Warner Brothers, yeah.
Warner Brothers being like, look, like this already has been working questionably. We've already gotten bad press about this, and now there's been all this stuff about, the Battlefront stuff. Why don't we just completely, just completely stay out of the way of like legalities and everything else, and just try to just get out of the way of that and salvage some kind of like
and also
goodwill.
and also the first 6 months are over now, so all the money that they were really going to make off of that single player game is pretty much made.
done.
So I don't really applaud them for
Definitely.
it's good that it's gone, but it's not just like, ooh, good job. It's like, yeah, you guys made sneak it in there for 6 months. I don't know how much
Totally.
money they actually made, obviously, but
Yeah, they're not like giving people refunds either. So, Chrono Trigger.
Thinking about getting refunds.
Yeah.
No.
Some of you were pretty pissed about that Chrono Trigger release.
People might have been wanting refunds after they purchased the PC.
that's what Ethan was
Steam
going
version.
Yeah,
Um,
because they didn't like the
Chrono Trigger.
graphics. It also is a port of the Android iOS version.
Yeah,
is weird.
which those versions are
Yes, those are widely
notoriously-
regarded as terrible.
like just ugly, like
So-
not great versions. So
And now they're giving you the option to switch, which is fine. That's all they need
which
to do,
is
and
fucking fantastic.
maybe change
But
the controls a little
also,
bit.
hey man, they already had a great version of Chrono Trigger on the DS that I somehow just got back recently.
Yeah,
I owned the game and then it mysteriously disappeared for several years.
it was a few years. Yeah, it's back now.
And it has returned
But
to me.
not everyone has a DS, Ricardo. So some people just have a
Who
computer.
doesn't have a DS? I killed him.
Oh, okay.
What will that solve?
I killed, just one less person willing to accept.
Would you
Jesus
kill
into
off
their
a game
hearts.
if it probably wasn't working out for your company?
Yeah, maybe
Yeah,
I might.
you'd kill it because it just didn't seem to fit what you were
Would
trying
you
to
kill
do.
it because you're losing money because somebody keeps tweeting about how you're trying to take down the USPS?
Maybe I might. Who's
Well,
asking?
Breakaway, a game that was announced
What?
about a
What game?
year, 2 years ago.
What game?
Amazon Game Studios, which I don't think has put out a single game yet, announced 3 games back in 2016, and they just announced they are killing one of them, which is the game called Breakaway, which was a Twitch-ready competitive brawler.
What
um,
game is this?
This actually Breakaway.
Breakaway.
What game?
This-
What?
This actually,
I've
Like a
never
few
heard of
people
this.
played it
I'm-
too.
I'm gonna be on and tell you a little story. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
That not too long ago, Amazon had actually listed on a site called LinkedIn.
Oh, I've heard
Oh,
of
I
this.
never
site.
heard of
listed
this.
a need for a social media manager for the game Breakaway.
Oh,
And
Yeah,
let's
I
say
can
someone
imagine.
on this podcast may have applied to that.
Wow, and you didn't disclose
Yeah.
conflict of interest?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm
you
not
been
sorry.
you would have been let
Uh,
go if you had. So
And obviously I didn't get the job because I never get any job. But also,
but also you would
but,
be
like,
out of a job
it
now.
forced
So
me to actually, I'd be out of a job, but it also forced me to actually look at what this game actually is. And it seemed like a pretty cool concept. It was like
watching some
it was
gameplay footage of it right now.
it was like a combat sport sort of thing where it was like
it looks a little bit. It looks a little bit gigantic esque.
yeah, like, and there's like different characters obviously that perform differently, and it's a kind of like a sports game where you're trying to score a ball into a goal or a zone or whatever. And
with
that,
some clearly Dota and
Yeah.
MOBA inspired.
yeah, exactly, like MOBA and Overwatch inspired stuff. And it looked kind of cool. And for all intents and purposes, it seemed like,
It seemed like it was going to go well.
yeah, it seemed like it was going well. It seemed like the game was coming
gigantic.
along.
Yeah,
I think it's way less about how good. I mean, who knows? That's the thing. This is me completely. I'm saying I have no idea what actually was the problem or no problem, but I bet it was way less of a, oh, this game is bad, it's not doing good. It's more of a, no one's buying hero based. Like Overwatch broke in and like took over everything. Dota and League of Legends already own the rest of the market.
Yeah.
The new stuff is like MOBA games.
Yeah,
MOBA games.
I mean, freaking Paragon got shut down.
Yeah, and the other, it's interesting because
that's Epic. That's a huge company. You know what I mean? Like
the two games, they're
stuff
also
like that happening probably made Amazon corporate go, this game's not gonna do. Doesn't matter. This game's not gonna do good no matter how.
Well, these two games that they have is New World. The other one that's also being still developed, which is a massively multiplayer sandbox game, which doesn't sound like it's going to be a hit genre. And then something called Crucible, which is a sci-fi survival game, which might do okay, but like
survival games are big.
Survival games are big, and if they do it right, maybe it'll be good. But multiplayer sandbox game, I guess out of all of them, if I had to cancel one of these genres, probably would be a brawler. Like people don't really big fighting games don't really make that big of an impact, especially if they're like a new IP.
Well, but
it's really hard to
really,
break in.
It's not really a fighting game, It's more
a brawler, but
so yeah, that's kind of disappointing.
It sucks, but it doesn't sound like
it is definitely a savvy move of like, there's only so much of this pie left. Like, how much are we gonna be able to take from it? Man, video games, they're business.
They're business.
Specifically, ones that are games as service are business.
Even streaming games is a business, and sometimes that business doesn't work out so well, and you have to lay off some people.
Oh yeah,
which sucks because
that would be awful.
Twitch keeps hiring.
Speaking of Amazon,
yeah, Twitch is gonna be hiring a whole bunch of people, but before they hired a bunch of people, they had to lay off a bunch of people to hire some people because that's how it works.
That seems kind of scuzzy.
Seems kind of weird.
That seems.
All the people that were laid off were let's see, mostly people who were in the esports division of like helping maintain esports. I wonder if Twitch looked at it and was like, well, we have a bunch of people who run esports and they just cast our stuff anyway. What can we do different? They use their equipment. They use their own equipment. They use their own channel. We'll just promote those, But so they decided to cut a lot of people off. I think it was like 25 people from the studio section and most of the community marketing parts. And let's see who's in this.
Yeah, there's a pretty sad quote here by Rod Beslew.
Yeah.
Let's see, rank number 1 esports, a competitive gaming consultant, self called, who said on March 30th here on Twitter, Twitch laid off more than 25 people from the Twitch studios and community marketing team yesterday, including several high-profile employees who have been with the company since Twitch began, sources said. People were told that Twitch had, quote, overhired, and this was to readjust. And then he goes on to say some Twitch employees were fired by new Twitch VP of content, Michael Aragon, who wasn't even in the office and did this via a remote Google Hangouts call.
Classy.
Employees were told to leave immediately. Jesus. Immediate morale is at an all-time low at Twitch, with one saying we got Amazoned. Sad day.
Well, you also could read Justin Wong's. He was cut too. Not the.
Oh yeah.
He said like he's been working there for like 6.5 years. He'll still be employed for Amazon for a few months, but he definitely doesn't have an active role in Twitch. And he owes him a lot, and it's just like, man, when they're cutting out people like that early, that's kind of sucks. Like that just, I don't know. That's always like those millennials jump ship, man.
Considering they are owned by Amazon, which is like a pretty giant company, it's not like, oh no, we're this small startup and we're running out of funds and we hired too many people. It's like,
Yeah, you
You
gotta.
know what I mean?
you gotta-
I understand you. I understand. There's like logistics, but still
It
like.
also
some
happens when bigger companies
min-maxing
come in
going on
and they
here.
just look at stuff and
Yeah.
they're like, okay, well, we'll just gotta cut these people. Sorry, it's just not viable for what we want to do with this. And that sucks. Like, that's just part of what happens when places get bought out. But, you know, it's always a shame when people get laid off, especially when it's in, like, a marketing section or something like that. I may be biased, but, you know. But anyway,
So-
off on that sour note, or that lame note.
We always end with these downers, don't we?
I
Every
know,
time
I
we
need to
finish
really,
the
like,
news.
fix these up.
Hey
There's a lot of
man,
people leaving.
it's been a weird
years,
like
years,
like
years.
yeah, for gaming and stuff. You know, there's obviously been a lot of great stories coming out, but also
Yeah.
a lot of like, hey,
The great story coming out that I'm excited for is
Yes.
Ready Player One by Steven Spielberg.
oh yes,
Oh,
yeah.
yes, I've seen that movie.
You don't want to clan. Hey, don't clan up.
Don't
bro.
clan up.
You don't wanna clan up.
Did you
Don't
see that,
climb up,
Ricardo?
dude.
Did you see it?
No, I just listened. To
I
Ethan.
also listened to Ethan's
To hit
review.
podcast, the other half.com.
Stop,
The other half
stop.
podcast.
The other
Yeah.
half podcast.com.
You guys never give us any rep on your show. Why do we keep giving you rep on
Hey.
this one?
When I'm on, I mention us.
Yes,
and
you do.
who's to say maybe I'll be on sooner than you think.
No, I don't. I know when you're on. I know it's. I know you're coming on soon.
Yeah. A few
Ready
weeks.
Player One sounds like it's not a good movie. That's not surprising to me.
It is. Yeah. It's. I was gonna say it has some moments. It does have some moments, but it's mostly.
I feel
not
like
good.
it's not a great.
Bad movies can have moments.
I feel like it's not a great movie, but it might be like an entertaining
romp.
experience.
Yeah.
To go to the movies and see.
Please, glassily
like-
stare at a screen for 90 minutes.
Then
for
never
2 hours. And
just.
Let's not think about things. Let's just see the cool Gundams fight each other.
did you guys notice the Ghostbusters were in it? Did you notice?
I saw Freddy Krueger.
He's my favorite.
I saw Beetlejuice. Yeah, that's a weird amalgamation of
did they
like
not
all
even-
things
did
I
they
don't
not
like
even-
about pop culture.
Did they not even do?
Hey man, you're
Did
not
they
even
not
a
even-
fan of pop culture.
You're not even. No, you're not a true fan.
You're not a true fan of popular culture, the concept of popular culture.
Get out of here, you corporate schmuck.
Also,
I-
don't clean up.
Don't clean up.
I don't
also,
clean up.
Can't for me,
also,
bro.
we're gonna next year we are gonna stop creating all media. All the media that exists now is the only media that will ever exist
Yeah.
for the next.
Hey man, everybody's
for
too
the next,
busy
like, 25
living in the
years.
stacks, going into the oasis, and never.
I mean, isn't that the
creating anything new.
dystopia future
That's
we
why
live
you
in?
gotta learn. Well, this is getting into really spoiler territory, so I'm just gonna stop right there.
Isn't that the dystopian
whatever.
future is where you don't make anything new and it's just a whole bunch of sequels? Isn't that it? Isn't that the real dystopian future?
God.
Oh my god!
Oh shit! All right. Speaking of
Well,
trash,
yeah, no, I was gonna say, speaking of garbage, it's time to move on to trailer trash.
Trailer trash, dang old worm, not the Pixar peer. Get her do.
You're not a true fan, that's why.
you're not a true Pixar.
Not
You're the
true.
money-making Pixar,
Fan
so
of
Pixar can make good stuff.
media, Pixar culture. Hey, The Incredibles 2 is gonna be good, maybe. I
No,
don't
it-
know.
Tell me all you know about John Lasseter. He left some Easter eggs in these.
Oh no,
in
you
these
don't want to know about
pixels.
John.
I don't wanna know about John Lasseter.
He left these
No,
Easter
man.
eggs at the end. You can control
Fuck,
Pixar.
Incredibles was Brad
If you
Bird.
if
Where
you
is it?
Don't put John Lasseter
As
on
it-
The Incredibles.
As
Not-
it turns out, you
Brad
do
Bird
not
was Incredibles.
I know, but at the end
as
of
of yet, we don't. As of yet, Brad Bird is clean. As of
and,
today,
and
as of
Master-
April 5th, 2018, Brad Bird is clean.
He's been off for years. Okay, he hasn't. Wait, and Lasseter also did not do Toy Story 3. Pretty
but
sure that
you know what?
was,
You know he didn't do Coco either. But in the end, it says we thank you, John Lasseter.
Ooh, gross. They're
It's like,
still
oh.
thanking him and stuff.
Still think, hey, T.J. Miller was in Ready Player One, so whatever, dude.
Oh, dude.
Whatever, dude. Anyway, back to more fun things. Speaking of trash, our first trailer was.
Hey!
No, I'm just kidding. I have no opinion about this series.
Okay.
I want to
Fine.
play it, but they announced a new Spyro game
I
coming
played
out.
the
By a
first-
new
They
game,
did
I mean
it?
a remaster.
The first three Spyro games are the only Spyro games that I've ever played. So
And from what I hear, the only ones really worth
that were
playing.
good. Yeah, and even the third one, people kind of I think go like it's getting repetitive, or like It's the first two, and the second one especially, I think is kind of where people consider those
Yeah.
to be
A bit samey, but like, man, they're doing the whole Crash treatment where it's like we're gonna redo the graphics completely and like make it look good. They show some footage of
looks
like
beautiful.
what it looked beforehand, and it's like, oh, this is like I didn't know it look that bad, and now you see it how it looks now, and you're like, oh, that's how I kind of
No,
always
it's not
pictured it in my head.
Yeah, kind of. Honestly, that's an interesting way to put it. But yeah,
Yeah,
But
yeah.
they
It looks very bright, saccharine,
yes.
saturated, perhaps you would say. But like it is like obviously going for a look. It's got like a ton of bloom.
Ton of bloom, ton of like big, bulky models with like not a lot of details where they're big cartoony things.
Like kind of like cell shadedy, like
Mhm.
bulky, stylized.
Looks really good.
Graphics, art, beauty.
I would be willing to give these games a try. You know,
I mean, yeah. I wonder if they'll price it full. Wasn't Crash cheaper?
I think it's up for pre-order right now.
Crash was cheaper, right? Crash was like
Crash
40?
is like 40, I think, which I think is
30.
I think it was 30. Yeah. Next up, did you guys like the teen angst of fucking Life is Strange, man? Did you like it?
I did. Yeah.
Well, now you're gonna get the vampire
What about
angst.
the vampire angst?
I want that
of-
vampire.
Oh, wait, no,
angst.
you're not a. Don't say vampire, bro. You're a Acham or something like that. You're me getting phlegm out of my throat name.
Ahem. Ahem.
Also, hey,
you're a vampire.
also, do you like Blue Oyster Cult? Not anymore. You don't because
It was like almost fine in my book, and then it started doing. It actually did it, and I'm like, we're getting to that
the
point.
somber pop
We're
cult.
getting to that point where like the summer podcast is becoming a like it is becoming its own parody at this point.
Yeah.
That people are already talking about how much they hate it, and so I was like, well, pretty soon it's getting to the saturation point where like pretty soon we're gonna stop seeing that in so many trailers. And look,
I mean, we stopped seeing Kanye West Power in trailers.
Now we're gonna
So
see it. It's gonna
wait.
come back full circle. We're gonna see a sad version of Kanye West Power, sad pop cover. So,
That'd be pretty good, actually. I would pop for that one. But yeah, this is
Go ahead.
Vampire. This is the narrative-driven game where you are a Victorian dude who is a vampire, and will you give in to your lust for blood, or will you be good?
will you be a good clean boy who
You're
doesn't
not a vampire.
anybody
That's
vampires?
too
Or will you side
uncivilized
with
of a
the
name.
vampires? Will you side with the vampires or the crime detective fight mans?
Yeah.
Will you be?
Are you a renegade?
Will you kill the nice nurse lady who is trying to help the sick people? Will you eat or drink her blood, or will you be like, nah?
I've got a 2 minute victims here. I've got to do this voice or something like that.
Will you join the guys who are chanting "One of us, one of"? But wait, like
They seem like they're on the up and up.
They seem very much like you should join them. I don't know who they are, but they
They seem very accepting. They're like one of us.
Yay.
Yeah, very nice.
One of us.
It's
That
really
game looks cool.
Yeah,
Honestly,
I'm actually pretty interested in it. I think the one thing I don't
Yeah.
like is I don't really like the way it looks a whole lot. I think it looks like a.
well, I mean,
it's Life is
have you
Strange
seen
vibes.
Life? I was gonna say,
Yeah.
have
but
you
Life
seen
is Strange like had a
Strange?
more stylized look to it, while this is very like we're going for a realistic.
Going for that grit.
We're going for
Give me
that grit, and that
Mm.
grit needs good graphics.
I want
While
to feel it in my teeth.
Life is
I don't
Strange
think grit needs good
looks
graphics. I don't think
like
that.
I think for me, like
Thanks.
when you have that grittiness, it has to like have pretty good graphic fidelity to make it look okay.
I
You are
mean, that's demanding a lot from people. I feel like
I know that's why you
Life
should
Strange
go.
looks
I
like
think
that.
that's where you should go. I think that's why you should go with a cartoony style like Life is Strange, despite what Ricardo says. He doesn't
But
know
that's
anything.
not what that wouldn't fit the theme. Then that would look really weird if it was like cartoony when you're like playing as a vampire man. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't think this game looks great either. But I'm just like that's a weird
Yeah,
demand. Like
that's
if you're going for gritty, you have to do good. You must immediately hire.
I
a
just
team
think
of,
I
like,
just think
of,
if you
like,
I just think if you
bigger
do gritty,
studio.
it's much harder to make that look good on a lower budget.
It is harder. And
So, that's all I'm saying.
Going for realistic graphics for sure is harder.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I want to go to the next story, but one thing I will say about Vampire is that, like, while I too with you guys was like, this game looks interesting. I also feel like this game looks like it could be terrible.
Oh, yeah.
If you just like if the choices and the drama are not done well, then
Totally.
it could be real bad. But the trailer made it look good, so that's except for the terrible song.
Well, you know, that's just
We're
marketing.
gonna have to not wait for Ricardo. Shaq Fu.
Shaq Fu, alleged reborn.
Shaq Fu
He's back.
back.
He
Baby.
is a.
Listen, here's the thing that the best part about Shaq Fu is that it's very clearly self-aware. Unlike Bubsy, the new Bubsy game that came out that apparently was not self-aware at all.
What are you talking about?
This one is like I am Shaq. What's his last name?
I don't know. It's some Chinese.
It's like Shaq Le Quan. I am a small rice farmer from
Yeah.
You killed my mentor. Hey, and I will.
His
kill you
glasses
now.
turn into little X's when he dies.
Yeah. Yeah,
It
like
looks dumb. It looks
everything
dumb.
leading up to the gameplay looks really good, and then
And the gameplay
it's-
just looked like, oh, this looks like a mediocre brawler.
Yeah.
I have to remind everybody that I actually, when this game was on Indiegogo, contributed money to this
Oh.
game. So I
More
was actually,
compromised multiple times.
so I believe I'm
Compromised.
entitled to a PC version of this, which I'm not gonna play. So maybe one of you guys will end up with a
Alright.
copy of Shaq Fu,
Sounds good.
a Legend Reborn.
We'll stream it for you so you can join
I'm just
in.
a little. I mean, it doesn't
The
seem.
gameplay part was the part that really
Yeah. and-
like the cutscene was like dumb, but in the best way.
I
And
wish
then, like,
they
you
could-
start play-
I also
It
kind of
did
wish that graphics were kind of in the game more, you know? The style of like the cartooniness, and then it goes like
you
this
just want
3D.
cartoony graphics and everything.
Yeah,
You saw Spyro,
cartoons
you
are
saw
fun.
Spyro, you saw Spyro, and now you're just like
Cartoons
cartoon.
are fun.
Every
Cuphead-
game is a cartoon.
Cuphead
Gears of War,
forever.
the cartoon. Gears of War, the cartoon.
Look,
Would you not?
all
play
I'm
Gears of War
saying is
cartoons?
that like, if this is called Shaq Fu Legend Reborn, I wish that we saw a little bit more of some of those other great characters from
Yeah.
Shaq Fu, like the mummy guy,
Uh,
or
No,
The-
Ricardo. Where
the Arabian guy.
there are demons that have made themselves celebrities, and we have to take them down because they're poisoning the minds of the youths. And there's like
Yes,
a very obvious Paris Hilton stand-in because you know
'cause
that's real timely.
it
and then-
is.
But then they make up for it because the next one is a Donald Trump
Is it-
stand-in, you know. So it's like, cutting edge satire, ripped from the headlines.
I
and then
like it.
And there's like a third lady, and it's like she just looks like a demon lady. There's not really any indication what she's
Hey.
supposed to be a parody of. If
I
she is,
feel like, and obviously, I'm not speaking for everyone, and obviously, it's not everyone, but I think I can speak for a large contingent of the audience that everyone would like to see Shaq beat up maybe one of those people involved in that.
I really don't like Paris Hilton. You're right.
Yeah.
Remember Celebrity
Um,
Deathmatch? Anyway,
Oh God, yes, I remember the episode Stone Cold was on. He was on several episodes.
so
Celebrity
weird.
Deathmatch.
All
You were
right.
like, damn it, I'm a claymation man.
Oh, is he Vegeta? Damn it! I can't.
Damn it.
I was so fooled.
State of Decay dose.
That's right, boys. Mondo Shaq Fu.
Guys, do you like trailers where you don't hear the sound of the gameplay, but only like a really generic song playing the whole time?
No,
while
I
they show
don't,
the game?
Ricardo. I don't like it. Don't try to trick me into
this
thinking
is
I
not
do.
a good trailer. This is- well, this trailer seemed mostly fine, and the game itself looks pretty dang cool. But like, it was really weird.
Really
They just
cool.
decided to like cut out all the audio of the game, and
Also,
just-
like, it was clear that they were like, this is showing off the management
Yeah.
part of the game. This is showing off the driving part of the game. Like that,
Yeah,
it
it
was
was not
split
like a
up into
heavily
like
edited-
things.
it was
but
not like
yeah.
a heavily edited trailer. It was much more of like, here's a collection of gameplay clips
Yes.
that we're just gonna kind of throw in. Like, not it's not like
There's no story behind it. It's just here's a
I
couple
don't-
things that
I mean,
happen.
this game has had multiple trailers that have had more, you know,
Watch them
stuff.
throw the
in the game,
zombie.
but this is just like, here's some stuff. Look at it.
Watch the fat zombie. It's really powerful for some
The
reason.
fat one
attack.
rips you in half,
'Cause
and then
he's
that's the end of the
strong,
trailer. That's the end of
unlike-
the trailer. After that,
you know.
that's it. That's it. That's all.
You gotta have a
That's
lot of
it,
muscle
that's
under all
all.
that fat to lift the fat, so it makes
That's
sense.
it. That's all.
Yeah, that game looks cool, but this wasn't a good trailer for it.
Minute.
Hey Matt, question.
What?
Did you cancel your account trial for?
Nope. I want to play like a little bit more Sea of Thieves.
Yeah,
so-
I was gonna cancel it, then I went saw the thing go through, and I was like, all right, I'll pay another month. It's fine. I was like, $10 is still whatever.
$10, whatever.
That's
I-
what they're banking
I
on.
know.
So if you still want to play Sea of Thieves this weekend at
Literally.
some point, let me know
Play
because like I'll play a couple more rounds of that for sure.
Okay, all right.
Um,
All right. Speaking of which,
minute.
a minute. We'll play a minute of Sea of Thieves.
Good one. This is a cool trailer.
This
I
is
like
a cool
this
trailer. I like this trailer.
Yeah.
It fits the idea of it, which is a game. It doesn't really explain what the game is, so I don't know if
Not
it's a good
really-
trailer,
I
but
mean,
we
look,
know
it
what
does.
it is.
It does, but
It
without.
doesn't.
It
It
does.
doesn't.
Yeah, it does without spelling it out for you. But it shows you that you in the game, which the name might give you a hint, but you only have a minute in the game, and then you die.
Mhm.
And then you revive and you keep all the stuff that you got in that minute, but you have to you have to like restart from your spawn point. And I do know from what I've heard, it's like a kind of like a Zelda-like game with like and it gets more depth from there. As much as they're like, well, you can't go very far then, can you? But it does actually add a bunch of layers and mechanics and stuff like that onto it. But the trailer is really cool because it's just like this flip book. Someone's flipping, and the person, little
Mhm.
dolphin man guy that you play as, jumps out of bed, drinks coffee. He picks up a sword. He runs outside. It's like, oh, he's dead because he took too long. And it's like, okay, now he's back. And then he like drinks coffee real fast. and
Now
then
he's gardening some stuff, and then
Yeah,
and
it's
then
like-
he gets killed by a bull, and then
it's
he
like-
comes back out of the house and he just quickly drinks the coffee, and then he just kills the bull.
But
he
the
kills
flip book's so
stuff, and
cool.
He finds like a cave with it's got like a kraken in it, and then it's like, oh, that one's done now too, and then it just shows like a bunch of flip
like
books
all
on
of the
the floor.
books on the floor of all the different adventures you could go on.
Yeah, and it's like
Go
minute,
on.
y'all. Also, there's like a cool sounding song.
Yeah,
the
it's a
whole
good
time,
song.
too.
And good sound effects.
Yeah, it's a good soundtrack, I think, from that game.
It looks cool. That game looks really, really cool. I mean,
Oh,
obviously this didn't show any gameplay, but I've heard it good things, and this sold the concept well. So.
Yeah. We made it now.
We made it to,
The last game.
which is very interesting.
Catastronauts. Which is a great name.
And also,
Did we establish if this is made by
It's not.
the devs?
It's not made by, but it looks like
it
Overcooked.
Looks like a lot like Overcooked in a
yeah,
lot of
it's,
different ways.
it's,
like
uh,
someone took the graphics of Overcooked and the gameplay engine of Overcooked,
Mhm.
and then they're like, and then we shoved the FTL concept on top of that. Boom!
Which
This game looks awesome. It looks
is really
awesome.
cool.
it looks really, really cool. Because
Like,
you've got
You in a spaceship with three other friends, and you're physically
Mhm.
controlling one character, but you have to run around, and fire the
putting
lasers,
guns, and like
put the-
pulling out battery cores.
fire,
and
get the
there's
fire
a
out.
fire, and then you can open up
There's
the
a breach in the floor. You gotta cover that up with something.
like FTL. You can open it up
Open up
and,
the air
and take all the
vents.
oxygen out of there. But then it's like, oh no, I'm still in there. Ah, man.
And
So,
it
yeah,
just-
it-
it seems ripe for. I mean, there's a game. I mean, there's Space Team obviously on iOS, and there's a
Space
board.
Team.
There's a board game.
What was that?
What's it called? Space Alert.
Space Cadets.
Which is exactly the same thing as well. This is a ripe concept that I'm actually really surprised. I mean, no, there's
Art-
Lovers in Dangerous Space Time.
There's that. There's
also-
also
That's-
this is exactly that game
Artemis.
itself.
There's like all that. It's
Yeah.
Star Trek kind
Star
of
Trek,
game, but
Bridge
like this is
Crew, yeah.
more of couch like simple.
But this one is
style.
more like the goofy side, whereas like Artemis and Star Trek Bridge Crew were like very serious. Get your
Yeah, you
you
have, like,
are an
missions. This
engineering
is just,
station.
like-
You make sure to do your job, and this is just like, oh, Ethan, why'd you fire the thing? We're not ready yet. Take the fire.
Yeah. It
I
looks
can
really
Yeah,
cool.
see- I hope it's
look-
just out by the time we get to Evo. That's all.
I,
That's what
I
really
just hope that, like, again, conceptually and the way it looks, both very strong. I hope that like just from a gameplay standpoint, it can hold up its end of the bargain. Because if the controls aren't tight, or if there's like not kind of that steady like increase in difficulty as you play the game, like I could see it maybe not.
I wonder if it's gonna
not
have any
being-
sort of like progression, like if it's gonna be like FTL where you're going through levels
I think it's
or
just
something.
I think it's just levels.
Or is it gonna be levels like
I would
Overcooked?
just be I
Yeah,
mean,
you're
if
probably
it
right.
did, that'd be cool. But with the way it's a 4-player game, and you might be playing with different friends.
hoping
every
to be
time you
2
play
different
it, kind of
modes.
thing.
Like one for like, hey, you can have like a cool thing, and you can make like a roguelike type thing, a very light
I mean,
FTL.
that would be awesome. But I would expect it to just be.
Yeah,
I would expect it.
Yeah.
I'll temper my expectations.
Your
So what
word
wins?
expectations.
Oh man,
That's pretty good. That's a pretty good trailer and a
Yeah.
pretty good
I like that. Minute is I think the best trailer.
minutes probably.
Astronauts was the trailer that I was like, I am so excited for this game.
Yeah, we never even heard of it. And that was like the first trailer. We're like,
Yeah,
oh,
it was the
shit.
first thing I'd never even seen it before. I'd heard of Minute before, but yeah, I'm kind of torn. I don't.
You don't want to do State of K2.
I mean, like that. I'm excited for that game. I don't think that trailer was
and
the
this
best trailer we
trailer
watched this week.
showed
you know?
decent concepts. Of
Yeah, like
that
the
you
trailer
have
wasn't
in
even
the
it wasn't
game.
even bad. It was just like I don't think it was the best trailer this week. I mean, if you do, go ahead and vote.
I think I'm gonna go with, as much as I think Catastronauts sold me on its concept for it. I just really like that minute.
I
trailer.
really like the Minute trailer.
Yeah, I'll go with
music's
the Minute
really good.
trailer.
Yeah, Minute it is.
Make a bold.
Minute's the win it.
Minutes
Oh
winner.
shit, Guy Fieri!
Winner,
Okay,
winner, minute,
bold.
dinner.
What are you doing here?
I'm gonna add that. I'm gonna add
Thought
that
you
donkey
were
sauce onto this.
I thought you were still in Flavor Town.
I'll put minute on
I'm
a sandal
back.
and eat it.
My oh my, what a pie!
Guy Fieri, I thought you were in Flavor Town.
Hey, Virginia.
That's right, Fieri. Mondo cool.
Fairy would say Mondo cool and like
Let's see. I want to see an Akira Toriyama art style picture of Guy Fieri.
I mean, his hair is already doing
He's
that.
already Super Saiyan. He's always Super Saiyan. Guy Fieri is just always Super Saiyan. I
with,
wonder.
with a butt muffler.
Yes, and a butt. Yes, butt muffler
all
as
the
well.
chili he eats, man.
all around, and that.
I
about wraps-
mean, you've seen the show. You see how much he eats and what he eats. You
that
gotta have one of those.
he needs it. And that about wraps it up for this week's episode. Damn it. And that wraps it up. We are done. PixelLegends.com with 1L. Pixel_Legends on Twitter and on Twitch, I believe, as well.
Twitch.tv
Twitch.tv.
slash
Underscore legends, yeah.
You can follow us there where we do live streams of this podcast. If you're listening to the audio version, you subscribe on iTunes. That would be really good. And let's
visit
see.
the site.
I said the website's name already.
If you liked anything that Matt said about Stellaris, we have an old video on there. That's you
I should
might
do some.
like.
I should stream some Stellaris this weekend since I'm.
That'd be
since-
cool.
Since I'm home alone. Did you guys watch
What?
that? I
Yeah.
also have, but yeah, maybe I'll do that. Never mind. I gotta edit a podcast instead of doing that. So,
both.
with that said, simultaneously at the same time, yeah, I'll live stream me editing the podcast. Very exciting footage.
Hey man, our friend he live streams himself like editing his photos. So
Ricardo's shoulder, the most dramatic part of Ricardo. All right, but Ricardo's gone. And me and Ethan, it's time to say goodbye.
Goodbye.
And let's do a sync.